Hello guys and gals, I'm Nick and welcome to Furthy's Feedback. In this video, I'd like to cover 6 things that you possibly missed in HBO's brand new trailer for the Game of Thrones prequel series, The House of Dragon. The new trailer shows King Viserys bleeding onto the Iron Throne, alluding to the idea that the seat of power in Westeros will turn on certain rulers. In the lore that author George R.R. Martin has built around the Iron Throne, there are tales of kings who are literally cut by the swords that make up the seat of power. King Viserys is one such ruler. Though his reign was largely peaceful, House of Dragon will tell the story of the fallout that came from Viserys' line of succession. And if that name sounds familiar, that's because King Viserys is the namesake of a character you saw throughout Season 1 of Game of Thrones. Viserys was the name of Daenerys Targaryen's older brother, who was also nicknamed the Beggar King. It was commonplace among the Targaryens for names to be passed down generation to generation. The Viserys you'll see in House of Dragon lived about 200 years before the Viserys we met in the first season of Game of Thrones. The trailer also gives us a peek at the Dragon Pit in its glory days. Previously, fans have only seen the ruins of this place. Akin to the Colosseum in Rome, the Dragon Pit was a massive structure built in the heyday of the Targaryen dynasty, but it fell into ruin as the decades wore on. By the time we saw it in Game of Thrones, the Dragon Pit was a hollowed out structure with crumbling walls and no ceiling. But in the House of Dragon we will see the might of the Targaryens' dragons, as well as the place they were bred, raised and held for safekeeping. During this period of Targaryen history, there was a lot more infrastructure and technology designed for massive dragons, including harnesses. In Game of Thrones, Daenerys was shown riding her dragons bareback, an impressive show of strength and trust in her babies. But in this era of Westeros we'll be watching in House of Dragon, the characters with dragons have intricate harnesses for them. You can think of them as giant magical horses who have a special stable and saddle custom made for them. Alicent Hightower, one of the central characters for the story, is shown with a prominent symbol of the Faith of the Seven around her neck. The 7-pointed star is shorthand for the Faith of the Seven, just as a cross is the primary symbol for Christianity in the real world. In Martin's fictitious history, Alicent Hightower's ancestors were the first people in Westeros to adopt the Faith of the Seven when it was brought to the continent by the Andals. Then, when Aegon the Conqueror came to Westeros to establish Targaryen rule, he was anointed by the High Septon, who is like a pope in the Faith of the Seven. King Aegon chose to use the date of this anointment to mark the first day of House Targaryen's rule in Westeros. So all in all, expect to see many references to the Seven from both Alicent Hightower's character and other Targaryens. In Westeros, it's really just the North, aka House Stark, and the Iron Islanders who prefer to worship their old gods instead of the Seven. The famous cat paw dagger makes an appearance in this trailer. This weapon was likely just a normal dagger that any Targaryen or prominent member of the court may have had back in King Viserys' day. In the trailer, it looks like Alicent pulls it out of a sheath on someone's back before threatening Rhaenyra, King Viserys' daughter and named heir to the Iron Throne, with the blade. In Game of Thrones, we learned that Targaryens historically used dragonglass, basically obsidian, to decorate their weapons. This blade is Valyrian steel, also called dragon steel. These two components were the perfect recipe for a weapon magical enough to kill the Night King. We last saw this dagger in Game of Thrones when Arya Stark used it to defeat the ruler of the White Walkers and end the battle for humanity. And an honourable mention. The trailer also gives us a first look at Aemond Targaryen, also called Aemond One-Eye. Aemond is the second son of King Viserys and Queen Alicent Hightower. he's known as a fierce and hot-tempered member of the Targaryen family, and of course has his own ferocious dragon. So there you have it.